The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to Sarah Talk. It's political.
Senator Harris?
She reminds me so much of, like, if Maria from Sesame Street went into politics and got angry about shit.
Who's that the Wisconsin girl that nobody likes? What's her freaking something chur? Yobiture?
Oh my god, this is gold. Girl, keep going. Keep going.
Critical.
They care about the life of the unborn child, but once it's born, you know, it should pull up its little bootstraps and go get its second job and fucking take care of itself, you know?
And positively LGBT positive.
Look, whenever there's someone coming after my community, they are either wearing a MAGA hat, carrying a Bible, or more often both.
Oh, and occasionally complete lip service.
Oh, they're shutting us down. They're deplatforming us. I do a pretty good Alex Jones voice. They're turning the frogs gay.
Okay, you're sleeping in the child's room tonight because there's no way you're sleeping next to me. That is disgusting. I'm going to have nightmares.
And now, from Haines City, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to SarahTalk.
Hello.
I'm Sarah Austin, Becca in the studio. Hey, it's been a while. Been a minute.
Been a while. Okay, I'm not going to sing. Although I do love that song.
Okay. So I don't have anything to talk about tonight.
God.
What do you want to talk about? So we just did an episode of Free Thought in Florida. That'll post, I don't know, tomorrow, sometime maybe.
Whenever she gets around to editing.
Yeah. Yeah, my work schedule's all jacked up this week and has been for a while. And we were sick.
It doesn't help anything ever.
I missed 2 days of work. Kids missed a day, 2 days of school. Yeah, it's not the coronavirus. Don't worry, we're not.
It's not the coronavirus. It's not the flu. It's just
Blech. Just
Respiratory-
the seasonal blah.
respiratory crud, I think was the medical. I don't know why, but there's something sticky on my hand.
Ew. Is it sweat?
No.
So,
Sweat isn't sticky.
so on the Free Thought in Florida, we talked about
You're
it's
sweating that it's
it's
sticky.
our-
What is your problem?
1 year anniversary of the atheist community of Polk County. So that's pretty cool.
Is your sweat sticky?
Sometimes, and we talked about
What? Okay.
our group won an award. That's really cool.
Gosh. You're just gonna ignore the.
I am.
Okay.
We won the 2019 Adopt a Road Group of the Year.
I
so
love
you get this little trash
little
can.
trash
So
can
cute.
is
It's
so
a lid
cute.
that comes off. Love it.
Oh man, I need to put that in my shopping cart too.
Your
My
Oscar.
Oscar.
Yeah. We're gonna get a little Oscar.
We
the
can
Grouch to
say
send
we
us
got
some.
an Oscar.
Oh my God. That's great.
I can't reach it. Why is it way over there?
So that I can reach it.
You're a bitch.
Anywho.
Believe this shit. No, here, turn it around and put it up in there.
Oh my God, no.
Then we can both reach
No,
it.
and then we hit it, it'll go and
Oh,
fly all over. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay.
What? I like toys.
Yeah, I don't see where to put the batteries in this one though.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Anywho,
If I can't reach the bell, I'm gonna hit one of those obnoxious buttons.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
So we did. We had a lot of stuff that happened over the past year with the atheist group, and that's been a really good thing for us. I think, personally, me being on meds has been a really good thing for me.
It's been a really good thing for me too.
Yeah, has
you,
it been?
you being on meds? Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Tell me how has it been different?
It's just I feel like
we haven't had this conversation. We'll do it live on air like we do all the time.
this is how we get free therapy, folks.
Well, our fucking kids don't let us talk any other time,
That's
so
true
we have to.
too.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's a placebo effect on my end
Okay.
because I feel less anxiety about your depression.
That's interesting.
Like
It makes sense. Like, I get it.
like there's been times in the past where I'm like, okay, I gotta walk on eggshells. I gotta be so careful about what I say, how I say it, when I say.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't
find myself in that situation as much anymore.
Hmm.
And I'm sure a lot of it is because your mood is better,
Right.
but also because I know in the back of my mind, I should cut this under control now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway, thanks to the drugs. Hi, Jesse. Jesse's
Jesse.
watching.
Hi, Jesse.
Come
Oh my
visit
God,
us.
Jesse.
Come
I
visit
miss
us
you.
and bake cookies.
Bake cookie. I like cookies.
Mm-hmm. And some pot cookies. Oh, bring us pot cookies.
Mute that, please. Okay.
Okay.
So as we were saying, you're
As we were
sick. If I
saying.
have to cough and
Yeah.
choke and die, sorry.
That's just how it's going to be. Let's talk about, I don't even want to talk about this, but let's talk about the presidential
Oh my
election.
fucking God, seriously.
So
I knew she was going to bring it up.
Well, that's all we have to talk about.
Okay.
The last debate we did, there was, we didn't do that one on the show.
Right.
And that was the good one where like things were
Yeah.
saucy. And
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to fuck with my phone for a minute because my good charging cable that doesn't slide is not around.
And so
Okay.
we didn't get to do that one. And I feel like now at this point, like,
It's
what's the
pointless.
point? Because
Right.
half those people have dropped out.
Right.
I don't want to waste time on
Right.
Yeah. Even though it was good.
Well, could you engineer a debate between Biden and Sanders just by going through and pulling just the clips of them?
I don't know.
Not worth it. You have to,
No.
the context is not.
Yeah.
I
It's worth it just to watch Liz Warren cut Mike Bloomberg's nuts off
it
live
really,
on TV.
yeah, it's true. That's like the only thing that made it interesting. True.
Yeah.
Oh well. Oh my God, I love Liz Warren.
So Liz Warren dropped out.
That was the one. It surprised me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't.
She just did so
expect
poorly on
it.
Super Tuesday.
I know she did, but I didn't expect her
Mm-hmm.
to just.
Yeah.
Like so quickly.
Here's what I think I want people to understand, and this is a nuance that I can't make in a Facebook post or a tweet, right? And that's this. I'm seeing a lot of people, right? So we had all these people drop out. It feels very 2016-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You had Pete drop out and line up behind Biden.
Mm-hmm.
You had Amy drop out and line up behind Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Liz drop out. And so now it really is Biden v. Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Team Bernie.
Yeah.
And Biden was 5th or lower on my list.
Yeah.
Not a fan. How many times have I said this? He is my Hillary
Yeah.
of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I'll vote for him in the general if he's the nominee. I've
Yeah.
said that from jump. If a rock
Yeah.
if this trash can becomes the nominee for the Democratic Party, I'll vote for it.
Right.
But it's not the, but I won't feel good about it. And
Right.
so what really annoys me right now is there's a certain psychology that's happening that I think a lot of people don't see, get, or care about maybe. And that is that when your candidate either drops out or backslides, there's a grieving procedure that has to happen, right? The people who are Team Liz from day one are grieving the loss of their candidate.
Yeah.
My person is no longer in the primary.
Right.
And so when you go online and just make buckshot arguments about why you just need to shut up and get in line behind so-and-so, you're pushing them further away.
Mm-hmm.
That's not helpful. And so, as Bernie people, when I wake up the next morning and look at the damage and go online and go, wow, that feels really shitty. Biden just took the lead. And that's not at all what I was hoping for
Mm-hmm.
from Super Tuesday. I was expecting a better performance from my guy.
Right.
And so for then you to, jump in on this bullshit about like, well, he's not really a Democrat and, just shut up. Like, I don't want to hear your crap. And all you're doing is making me less like, here's where I feel right now. Here's where I'm at. I am mostly uninterested in the rest of the primary. Unless, Bernie's not out of it. It's still Biden and Bernie. He's still got a pathway.
Right.
But I feel like the moderate establishment Democratic wing has lined all the people up behind their guy. And then you have Bernie, the outsider, who's trying to, take over the party or whatever their message is. And so I've lost a lot of interest. I've lost a lot of energy in the primary.
Mm-hmm.
If it keeps going worse, if Biden continues to widen that gap into the lead, I'm going to care less and less about the primary. And then when the general comes around, I'll go in and I'll, bite my tongue like I did in 2016, and I'll hit the blue box and call it a day. I've lost the energy. I've lost the spark.
There's a lot of that. I've seen people comments on Facebook mostly of, Bernie bros who, you know what? I don't even want to vote in the primary now.
Right.
And that is scary as fuck to me. Like, you have to vote in the primary.
Yep.
And
I think we're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, I get it. I totally get it. For me, it's like, this has been one really crazy, forgive me. I am not usually a reality TV show watcher, but I have seen my fair share of episodes of The Bachelor, seasons of The Bachelor. But it's like that. Like, you watch the whole thing and then you get back down to the last two, and neither one of the two remaining people are
the guy you
somebody
wanted,
you
right?
wanted to win, and you're like, fuck this show.
Yeah.
Like, I'm changing the channel. Let's on Fox.
Yeah,
like,
wow.
Yeah.
Or
No,
you're
The Bachelor
right. That's
is
really
on
good.
Fox, isn't it? I don't know. But like, you know what I mean?
Watch
Like,
that
I don't
shit.
know. I don't know. But that's like how I feel right now. I want to tune out. I want to change the channel because I don't like the way this is looking.
It's interesting.
Right?
It could be worse, right? Bernie could have just gotten walloped in the first couple of states and been just dead in the water from the start. Like, again, at least he's still got a pathway.
Well,
I would prefer it to be him and Liz still sort of, you know, but Liz just got a lukewarm start on the whole thing.
She didn't even win her home state. Which sucked. And that had to pull the wind out of her sails.
What I want people to understand, and I commented this on a friend's post, so there's been a lot of this on Facebook and Twitter. Now that Pete's dropped out, now that Amy's dropped out, now that all of this, whatever, who are you Joe, or are you Bernie, or are you whoever the candidate is?
Right.
Like, at this moment, what is your perspective going into the future, whether your state is voted or not? Are you, and what it's asking is, if you're Team Biden and Biden doesn't get the nomination, are you gonna vote for Bernie in the general, and vice versa?
Right.
And it's trying to drag out the Bernie bot trolls that are Bernie bros or whatever they're called, which I don't know that this is. I think there is a microcosm of this, but I don't know that it's a wide swath of people. I don't know.
It concerns
these
me.
People that are like, well, if Bernie doesn't get the nomination, then burn it all down and fuck the system.
It concerns me, and
I'm not. That's what I want people to know. I'm sorry. That's what I want people to know is that's not the Bernie guy I am. Like,
no.
I'm the kind of Bernie person that's like, look, I
here
want
for Bernie,
but if he's not the nominee, I have said from day one, I will vote for whoever the nominee is, even if it's batshit crazy Marianne Williamson.
We cannot repeat.
No.
16. But I do, like, it didn't, when this happened in 2016, I didn't really think it was a real problem. Like, there were people that, the Bernie supporters that didn't vote because he didn't get the nomination. I was like, whatever. Hillary still got the popular vote. Like,
Right,
you
right.
can't blame it on the Bernie bros. But I don't know. Like, now
I saw an
feel
article.
like now the ones that were like Bernie or bust
Right.
are even more Bernie or bust.
Yes,
And
because
that is what scares me.
They saw, or I don't know if they saw, but in their perspective, the DNC fucked him over.
They did.
But and they cannot be redeemed.
Right.
So fuck them.
Yeah.
If they fuck them again, fuck you.
Yeah.
And the DNC can just go to hell. And we deserve Trump. I think that's the people you're talking about.
Yeah. And those, like, that mindset really does terrify me, because how is that any better?
It's not.
And how is that going to help anything? And that goes directly against what Bernie stands for, which I cannot compute those two things. Like, I don't know how you can be all for Bernie, but then just be like, fuck everybody.
Do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't get, and Bernie's not perfect. Like, he doesn't have some of those terrible skeletons in the closet like some of the others do.
Mm-hmm.
But you can dig up some stuff where he's been on the wrong side of things.
Sure.
For the most part, he's 95%. He's been out there beating the same drum his whole fucking career, and been on the right side of it.
Yeah.
But nobody's perfect is the point.
Right.
And anything is better than another 4 years of whatever this nonsense is.
I don't even,
One of the things that we're seeing already so far this cycle is the youth vote that Bernie has been counting on so much is not showing up in the same numbers they did in 2016. And I don't know what,
could that be,
what there is to.
Could that be all the kids who got their heart broken because their guy got jousted and they're like,
I don't know.
Fuck it. My vote doesn't count. And now they're not, like,
right,
I know
no,
it's
no.
easy,
Yep.
especially your first time out. You're like, I'm going to go voice my opinion. And then fuck your opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, well, fuck your government. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that there's been more positive in the world around us, that wouldn't be the case, but that wouldn't surprise me at all, that has to be a huge part of some of it, at least.
I was trying to find this. Here it is in NPR. 1 in 10 Bernie Sanders supporters ended up voting for Trump. This is NPR August 2017 story. It was based on a massive election survey of around 50,000 people, which is leaps and bounds more than how many people they do for a job approval rating. But more than 1 in 10 of those who voted in the primaries for Sanders in 2016 ended up voting for Republican in the general, rather for Hillary. They looked at what drove those voters to Trump. It wasn't trade. At least the issue of trade didn't seem to have that much of an impact. Let's see. Party seems to have something to do with it. Sanders-Trump voters were much less likely than Sanders-Clinton or Sanders third-party voters to have been Democrats. Likewise, approval of President Barack Obama appears to be related. Sanders-Trump voters approved of Obama much less than Sanders' primary voter. Hi, Bernie. Thanks. And then there's race. Nearly half of Sanders-Trump voters disagree with the idea that white people have advantages. They dug into a whole bunch of stuff here. And, that's what these post the exit polling and post-election surveys and stuff, you try to dig into the data and figure out what makes people tick and what made people change their mind. But so 1 in 10, that's, enough to make a difference,
Yeah.
really. It doesn't say, like, it doesn't extrapolate like how many that would have been. I could go find the final, voting tally and do the math myself, but not, I'm going to do that live on air. So yeah, I don't like. David had a good comment here in the live chat. Exactly. This is why I didn't want to see either in the race. It's a fucking repeat of 2016. The establishment Dems will do anything they can to stop Bernie. I will still hold my nose to vote Trump out. Yeah, that's exactly kind of where I'm at right now. And then David says, think beyond the presidency, Supreme Court, environment, education, courts, LGBT rights, etc. Right. I think oftentimes I don't know, it's maybe like a dual-edged sword of the way people think about the presidency, of like, well, they don't really do much, I think you have a segment of the people that are like I think there's a segment of the people that see lawmakers as more influential on the landscape of the nation than the president, when in reality all of these pieces work together and play together.
Yeah.
Which is why you can, have the presidency in the House, and then Mitch McConnell's Senate will just let all of your bills sit up and pile up on the desk until it's 4.5 feet tall and won't pass any of them, and you can't do anything about it because that's how it works. So, you got to consider, like, yes, the presidency is important, but also we have to be focused on taking back the Senate. We have to keep the House, take back the Senate. Like, we have to. And unfortunately, due to gerrymandering, that's harder and harder and harder every time we try to do it, because the people in power are drawing the lines to benefit themselves. And that's frustrating. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that feeling, just that sort of, like, the gut punch when you come out of the Super Tuesday and it didn't go the way you wanted it to, whoever's team you were on. Like, if your friends are feeling some kind of way about all that, give them a few days, give them a week.
Yeah.
Right? Before you go in there guns blazing, well, you need to come to my guy.
Sure.
Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah. I mean, we have time. Like,
Yeah.
Well, Liz was so, like, when she came out, she had her press conference, she announced she was suspending her candidacy, and everybody just, who are you endorsing?
Not going to tell you.
And she just, you know what? We're just going to take a minute and sit with it. I don't know if that was just that she's not going to endorse anybody, or like, but like, I could understand that, like, this whole time she's been vying for the presidency.
Right.
So for all of the other people to just come out behind Joe immediately, it made me feel that much more about her stepping down, because she had to put space between those two things, because she wanted that, like, you know what I mean? Like, it made me, I guess, more sad for the people that were in her camp.
Right.
Because I think, at some level, all of the people who dropped out before her, they all had to know that they weren't going to go all the way. You know what I mean?
Well, and what have they been promised?
And well, true. I don't see Liz as one that would make a deal or take a deal. I think it was purely based on numbers for her, because she's very intelligent and she's very well-rounded, I think. So, I don't know. It was one of those things that made me really think, wow, if she's going to sit and say, nope, we're just going to take a breath. But that speaks to what you were saying about give people a few days. Don't just jump on them about well, now you got to find a new candidate because truthfully, you don't need to do anything until election day. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because, or until it's time for you to vote in your primaries, which you should definitely be doing. But
Right.
I don't know.
I just wrote a quiz for you.
Oh gosh, I hate quizzes.
There's no wrong. There's no right answers. This is
Alright,
just
fine.
5 questions with Becca.
A new segment. 5 questions with Becca.
Ooh, I like that. Gonna mark that. Okay. Who do you think Warren will endorse if Warren will endorse?
Okay, I have lots of thoughts about this.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm glad I asked.
If she endorses Biden, she will immediately lose all credibility in my book.
Because she was on the progressive
Yeah.
side of the, yeah.
If she endorses Biden, respect gone. Done with you, Liz. Sorry. I liked you, but that's just low. But I from go with this one, I thought she will probably not endorse anybody publicly.
Keep talking.
I could be wrong,
I don't disagree.
but
Keep
I
talking.
think that it could be career suicide for her to endorse Bernie.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got it out for, like, you know.
I think, and hey, if you're listening at home, play along with it. Throw your answers in the chat. I think that she's going to withhold putting her support endorsing a candidate because I think she's going to play a unity card. I'm not going to endorse anybody. We need to come behind whoever the nominee is. Vote your heart.
Right.
In the rest of the primaries, vote who you think the president should be.
Yeah.
And then whoever the nominee is, we have to come together and beat Donald Trump. I think that's the play she's going to make.
That would make sense coming from her. Anything. I just don't see her publicly as much as I think she should.
Right.
Because
Bernie sure as hell needs it.
He needs it. And if her people get behind Bernie.
Yeah.
But I feel like the people in power would look down on her for doing that. And I think she probably knows that. And she wants to stay in this fight and, you know, continue fighting. And the only way you can do that is if you have some political place to go. And if you get yourself blacklisted because you endorsed the wrong guy.
Yep. I still say if Warren doesn't end up being the Secretary of Education, we will have made a grave mistake.
Really? Absolutely.
David also says, ditto my feelings on Warren. On the bright side, hopeful side, Andrew Yang started Humanity Forward and will soon have a podcast. I can't wait for that.
I love that.
And they've created this organization that's going to help support candidates who are outspokenly in favor of UBI.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, we knew he was going to do things.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even Mike Bloomberg, who dropped out as well, said, you know, look, I'm in this to beat Trump, and if it's not me, fine, take my money.
Right.
And so now he's pouring money into, you know, what's left to beat Trump.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Question number 2. Who do you think would win between Biden and Bernie? Who do you think will win? And this is reminder to the listening audience, some folks who may be new, who maybe found us on Dimcast, which we are a part of now, that we're not political junkies, know-it-alls. There are analysts who are looking at the states ahead and looking at predicting based on past patterns and all of this stuff. We don't know any of that. Just who do you think? What's your gut?
I don't know. The part of me that believes that there are decent people in this country, the part of me that believes that checks and balances will win out has to hope for Bernie. Have to believe that he will win. But the part of me that has seen this play out over and over and over and over knows that the cards are stacked against him.
Mm-hmm.
And that it'll come nose to nose, and it'll be one delegate off, or one county will be the hanging Chad of Florida, and
God,
we'll
Florida.
all get fucked over again.
Speaking of Florida, I just have to mention dumbass Matt Gaetz and his stupid
Oh my
mask
fucking
at the
God,
coronavirus
idiot.
thing. What a dumbass.
Stupid shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Question 3. Who do you think would win, Trump versus Biden?
This one worries me
Mm-hmm.
because we've seen Biden on a debate stage with people that are on his side, and he gets flustered easily. And we've seen Trump can just talk,
Right.
little razzle dazzle. That's what he does.
Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid first of all, let's talk about owning up to your mistakes when you fuck up, right? Because we gave Joe some shit. And then he came out and was like, hey, by the way, guys, I've been dealing with a stutter my entire life.
Yeah.
And then we felt like shit and went, all right, we're not going to make fun of your stutter anymore. And that was shitty of us, and we shouldn't have done that. You know who doesn't give a fuck? Donald Trump.
Right.
Stuttering Joe will be his nickname.
Right. And not only that, every single bully in America will jump in behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Every good old boy with a pickup truck and a handgun or a shotgun or an American flag or a rebel flag or a whatever
or
flag.
Or a Nazi flag. Did you see that?
Fucking
at Bernie's thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
What's it? Flow grown. All of them will line up behind that, because you know what makes big macho men with tiny dicks feel good? Beating up other people.
Yeah.
And kicking them when they're down and making fun of anything that. You know what? I bet if Bernie was trying to, maybe that's it. Instead of trying to sell free healthcare for all, he needs to get free Viagra or free tiny dick enhancements for all these jackass men who, I'm sorry, I just, but no, I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded because it's all I see in our area are these just gross, nasty guys who they're.
Question number 4. What's 8 times 7?
Thank you. 8 times 7 is. Oh gosh, really? Are you kidding me right now?
No.
Why? I don't know.
That's correct.
You don't
question
know?
number 5. It's 56.
I didn't say 56.
I know. Trump versus Bernie. Who wins in your mind?
I feel like Bernie would sweep the floor with Trump. I really do. I can't lie. Because Bernie doesn't take shit.
Is there a bias in that, though? Or is there...
There's definitely a bias in that. But I don't think Bernie would take shit from Trump. I really don't. Because you look at, look at Bernie and look at everything he's done throughout his political career. There are pictures of this kid being dragged off of a college campus by police.
I was arrested.
Right?
Marching for civil rights.
Right? Like, his whole fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he came back and did this again, knowing what the DNC tried to do to him just to get this jackass out of the White House.
Martin Luther King Jr. and I used to smoke weed on the roof of...
Jesus Christ. But yeah, like, I just feel like that the real question is, would Trump be brave enough to actually do a debate?
That's
with
a good
Bernie.
question. Like, will he agree to do
because
them at all?
That's where it is. Like, you're not going to see. All you're going to see if there's no debate is just Bernie attack ads.
Right.
And Trump can do that too. They need to be face to face for it to be a real fight.
Mm.
But I don't know that will happen.
Yeah. I've forgotten all about. I'm not even there yet because we haven't gotten through the primaries.
Because we haven't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that would be after we get our nominee.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next step. Now you're Republican.
Right.
Whatever. You know, like there has to. I just don't see Trump doing it. Like, I feel like he had to with Hillary because he wasn't the president.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he might. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I think his advisors would probably prefer him to not debate Bernie.
Oh, sure.
But
I mean, he's just going to go scream socialism,
sure,
scary, rawr.
Sure, exactly. But that's where the real fight is. That's where the real. I don't know. I would love to see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny as hell. There'd be some great audio clips. Can you imagine? Oh, gold mine.
Next question. If you were being sworn into
I thought
office.
This was 5 questions with Becca.
Shut up. If you were being sworn into office, what book or item would you swear in on instead of the Bible? Could be any item, any book, anything you want.
Anything I want.
Anything you want.
That's a good one. I'm trying to think of something that would be appropriate. Could I swear in on Ruth Bader Ginsburg's birth certificate?
Wow. My answer was Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself.
Oh, herself?
Herself. Wow.
Oh,
Holy crap.
Man. Nice.
Damn. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. All right. The final question. I promise this is the last question.
You're a liar.
I just keep adding.
This is
just keep adding shit.
Questions with Becca.
Oh, I like that too. That works. Okay. Final question. Think back to the. Hang on. Let me save this so
You're
I
gonna
can
make me think back. Do you have any memory enhancing
gotta
pills?
save this. We're gonna go into here and go to markup. Think back to all of the candidates who were running for office on the Democratic side. Who do you remember?
Who do I remember out of all of them?
Name all the people you can remember.
Okay.
And go slow so I can mark them off.
Okay.
Because there's a lot.
Beto.
Hold on.
O'Rourke. Do I need both names?
No. Okay.
Cory Booker.
Fuck, are these not in alphabetical order? But they might be in like the order that they dropped out. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find him.
Going slow.
Okay, go.
Camilla
Go. Shut up. Go. Go.
Harris.
Go. Okay.
Amy Klobuchar.
Okay,
Klobuchar.
go.
Turbaker? Karkapur. What was his name? Tom Steyer.
Yep.
Michael Bloomberg. But he was like all in for 5 minutes.
He was all in for billions of dollars.
Liz Warren, Tulsi Gabbard.
Who's still in, technically.
Yeah, weird.
I don't know what's up with that.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Yang.
Yep.
Julian Castro.
Good. You're missing a couple obvious ones.
Gillibrand.
Mm-hmm. It's not the one I was thinking of, but yeah, okay.
Well, Biden,
Yeah.
Warren,
Right.
Sanders.
Right.
Who am I missing?
Pete.
Oh, fuck. That guy. Oh, he doesn't even go here anymore.
You've got Buttigieg, Patrick, who didn't go anywhere, Bennett, Delaney, batshit crazy Marianne Williamson. How'd you forget
fuck
her? Bullock, who didn't go anywhere.
I don't-
Sestak, who didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know any of those names.
Messam,
Yeah.
Ryan, de Blasio.
Yeah, no.
Moulton, Inslee.
No.
Hickenlooper,
No.
Swalwell.
Hickenlooper, whoa.
Yeah, you don't remember him?
Nope.
Yeah, that was a fleeting brush with it. And
Okay.
that was it.
Yeah,
And
so I got all the
Ojeda.
main ones. I missed Pete. But
You did a good job. I'm impressed.
especially since the first time you tried to make me do this, I didn't know any of them
Right?
or how to say their names.
That's the idea. The idea is that we're taking someone who doesn't follow the politics closely.
Yes. Turning me into a political
And-
junkie.
Well, I'm just seeing what you're learning. That's all.
Listen. Oh, so this was my state mandated testing. What is it?
Ugh.
Ugh.
What's 8 times 7?
Fuck you. That's what it is.
Oh,
you.
All right. Have you had enough of this?
Not really.
You want to talk about something else?
Never enough.
I'm going to do that more often. Make up quizzes for people. We need to have more guests in the studio so I can make them sing with me like we did, Mama. It was fun.
Okay.
Just saying. That should be our shtick. When we have a guest in the studio, we can ask them a quiz.
And then make them
It's
sing for
out of
their
stupid
supper.
questions and make them sing. Yeah. That's going to be fun.
Gosh. She's out of control.
Hey, if you want to be a guest on the show,
gosh.
producer at SarahTalk.com.
See, now she's going to just send out a mass invite. Who knows what kind of crazy people are going to show
Oh,
up at our door.
you'd be surprised how many people's emails I delete on a weekly basis.
Well, at least there's
oh,
that.
here's this person writing a book, and like, oh, we're big fans of the SarahTalk podcast. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, like,
We don't think so.
tell me 3 things about myself.
Answer the entry survey to the private
No
group,
shit.
and then we'll talk.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because when you answer the question, who has the sexiest voice, and your answer is anything other than Becca,
Oh,
fuck you. No, just kidding.
God.
No.
Okay.
But it's true.
Oh.
It's true.
Well, we're going to go vote tomorrow, so we should probably
On
get to
who
bed.
has the sexiest voice?
We're going to go vote for the president of the United States tomorrow. Oh, it's not gonna fit.
Oh, you know what we should do? What we didn't do is
Oh.
you didn't ask Trump your
Well,
5
we
questions.
didn't.
So,
Well, it's just yes or no questions.
hey,
so.
Trump, is Bernie going to sweep the floor with you?
Put it by the mic. That doesn't sound good.
Oh. So he's not. Maybe not. Wait, what's another question I could ask Trump-o-meter?
Would-
Trump-o-predicto?
With Biden.
Would Biden sweep the floor with you? Wake up, you dickhead. You're fuck off.
That's not good. All right.
It's the first honest thing he's ever said.
All right.
Okay.
Let's wrap this up and go
All
to
right,
bed.
fine.
We're going to go vote tomorrow.
Please go vote.
Please go vote.
Please
It
go
still
vote.
matters. There's still a chance. And then, I don't know, we'll be back when there's more time in the day. But, hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for patroning. And we'll see you next time. You've been listening to Sarah Talk.
SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@SarahTalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. Sarah Talk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.